You have lived with this cat for 2 years, maybe 3, and you could count on both hands the number of times you have seen them in full daylight, out in the open, just existing in the same room as you without something forcing them out. Their food bowl is empty every morning, so you know they are moving around the house at some point. You just never see it happen. You catch glimpses. A tail disappearing behind the couch, a pair of eyes blinking at you from inside the closet before the door is nose shut. Sometimes at 2 in the morning, you hear them walking around the kitchen, living their full cat life while everyone else is unconscious. You have had people over and they have said, "Wait, you have a cat? Where?" And you have had to say, "Oh, they're just shy," while pointing vaguely at whatever piece of furniture your cat has currently dissolved behind. You have learned not to take it personally. You have told yourself this is just who they are. But here is what you have not said out loud, that it bothers you. That you got a cat because you wanted a cat to be there, visible, present, part of the household, and what you got instead is a very expensive ghost. If you saw the title of this video, you saw the promise. Today, I am going to show you exactly what one spoonful added to your hiding cat's food does to the biochemistry driving that withdrawal, why hiding all day is almost never a personality trait and almost always a physiological state, and how to use this one daily habit to begin drawing your cat out of the shadows and into the life you always imagined sharing with them. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Zoran, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. The chronically hiding cat is one of the most misunderstood situations in all of feline medicine, and it is one that I genuinely love talking about because the solution is so much more accessible than most owners realize. So today we are doing a complete masterclass on feline hiding behavior and the nutritional neuroscience behind changing it. I am going to walk you through exactly why cats hide, the one spoonful that begins shifting the internal chemistry that makes hiding feel necessary, the daily routine changes that stack on top of it, and the specific red flags that tell you the hiding is a medical problem that needs a veterinarian, not a spoonful. Grab a pen and a notebook, my friends, because your cat's behavior is about to make a lot more sense. Chapter 1. Why your cat is really hiding. The neuroscience of feline invisibility. Let me start by dismantling the most damaging assumption most hiding cat owners carry, because it is the assumption that keeps them from ever finding the real solution. The assumption is that hiding is a personality trait, that some cats are just like this, introverted, solitary, not a people cat. In feline behavioral neuroscience, chronic all-day hiding is almost never a stable personality trait. It is a behavioral output of a specific neurochemical state. And the distinction matters enormously because personality traits do not respond to intervention. Neurochemical states do. Here is the biology. Your cat's brain contains a structure called the locus coeruleus, a small cluster of neurons in the brainstem that serves as the brain's primary alarm system. When the locus coeruleus is activated, it releases norepinephrine throughout the brain, essentially lighting up every threat detection circuit simultaneously. Heart rate elevates, pupils dilate, muscles tense. The brain narrows its focus to survival and shuts down everything it considers non-essential, including exploration, play, social engagement, and appetite for novelty. In a cat whose locus coeruleus is chronically overactive, those survival circuits never fully quiet. The cat lives in a perpetual low-level state of perceived threat, and hiding, retreating to an enclosed, bounded, predictable space where the sensory environment is controlled and manageable is the most rational behavioral response available to them. What drives chronic locus coeruleus overactivation in domestic cats? 3 primary factors. First, a nervous system that was not adequately socialized during the critical developmental window between 2 and 7 weeks of age, when kittens must have positive exposure to humans, sounds, handling, and environmental variety to calibrate their threat detection threshold appropriately. Second, a history of frightening experiences, even a single significant traumatic event, can lower the threshold permanently if it occurs during a sensitive developmental period. And third, and this is the one almost nobody talks about, chronic nutritional deficits that starve the neurochemical systems responsible for dampening the alarm response. It is that third driver that the spoonful addresses directly. Chapter 2. The One Spoonful. Unsweetened plain kefir. The spoonful I am asking you to add to your hiding cat's food once a day is plain, unsweetened, full-fat kefir, specifically a product with no added sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no flavoring, and no xylitol anywhere on the ingredient list. Read the label carefully every single time. You are looking for plain, fermented milk with nothing added. Goat milk kefir is ideal because of its lower lactose content and superior digestibility for cats, but a plain full-fat cow's milk kefir is also appropriate for most cats if goat milk kefir is not available in your area. Why kefir specifically? Why not plain yogurt, plain broth, or any other fermented food? The answer comes down to the specific density and diversity of the live probiotic cultures in kefir compared to any other commonly available fermented food. A quality kefir contains between 10 and 34 distinct strains of beneficial bacteria and yeast, compared to the 2 to 7 strains in most commercial yogurts. That bacterial diversity is the key to what happens next. Here is the mechanism, and I want you to understand this clearly because it is the scientific foundation for everything else we do today. Inside your cat's gut right now, there is a vast colony of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and viruses, collectively called the gut microbiome. This microbiome is not just a digestive organ. It is a neurochemical factory. The bacteria in your cat's gut produce and regulate the majority of the neurotransmitters that govern your cat's emotional and behavioral state, including GABA, the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter, and serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for emotional stability, impulse regulation, and the felt sense of safety. When the gut microbiome is depleted, imbalanced, or dominated by inflammatory species, GABA and serotonin production drops. The alarm system loses its chemical brake. The locus coeruleus fires more easily. The cat hides more. When you add a spoonful of live, multi-strain kefir to your cat's food daily, you are directly seeding the gut with the bacterial species that produce and regulate GABA and serotonin. Over 2 to 4 weeks of consistent daily delivery, the microbiome shifts. GABA levels rise. The chemical brake on the alarm system strengthens. The threshold between a neutral stimulus and a perceived threat begins to rise. The cat spends more time in a physiological state where exploration feels possible, where the middle of the living room does not feel like open ocean, where a human sitting quietly on the couch does not register as a threat requiring immediate concealment. This is not magic. This is the gut-brain axis, one of the most well-documented and rapidly growing areas of neuroscience research, applied to feline behavior. Here is the exact protocol. Start with half a teaspoon of plain kefir mixed directly into your cat's wet food once daily. Most cats find the tangy, creamy smell immediately appealing and will eat it without hesitation. After 1 week with no digestive changes, increase to 1 full teaspoon daily. This is your maintenance dose. More than this at once can cause loose stools in some cats, so stay at 1 teaspoon and let consistency do the work over time. Serve it at room temperature rather than cold from the refrigerator, as the warmer temperature makes the aromatic compounds more pronounced and more appealing to the cat's sensitive olfactory system. Chapter 3: The Feeding Location Strategy That Doubles the Results. Here is something I have observed consistently over years of working with hiding cats that most behaviorists and veterinarians underestimate. Where you place the food bowl matters as much as what is in it. Most owners of a hiding cat do the kind and logical thing. They place the food bowl as close to the hiding spot as possible, right outside the closet door, right next to the bed frame gap, in the corner of the bedroom where the cat spends most of their time. The intention is compassionate. They do not want to stress the cat by making them travel to eat, but the consequence is the exact opposite of what they intend. When food is placed inside or immediately adjacent to the hiding zone, the cat learns that everything they need, safety and sustenance, exists in the hiding zone. The hiding zone becomes self-reinforcing. There is never a biological reason to leave it. Every meal consumed in the hiding spot deepens the neurological association between the hiding spot and reward. You are unintentionally teaching your cat that hiding is not just safe but optimal. Here is the counterintuitive but highly effective alternative. Move the food bowl out, not dramatically, not all the way across the house in one day. Move it 1 body length further from the hiding zone each week. Slowly, incrementally, over several weeks, migrate the feeding location to a spot in a quiet, low-traffic area of a shared room, somewhere with good sight lines in multiple directions and no wall directly behind the bowl. A cat who can see the room clearly while eating is a cat whose threat detection system is not activated during feeding. And a cat who must travel through shared household space to reach their food is a cat who is building, meal by meal, a neurological record of completing that journey safely. Pair this feeding location migration with the daily kefir so that each step of the journey is accompanied by a rising GABA baseline. The behavioral intervention and the neurochemical intervention work together. One without the other moves more slowly. Chapter 4. The scent and sound environment, building safety at the sensory level. A hiding cat is a cat whose sensory environment feels overwhelming. Their olfactory system is 14 times more sensitive than a human's. Their hearing detects frequencies and volumes we cannot perceive. The ordinary sounds and smells of a human household, a television, a dishwasher, a conversation, perfume, cleaning products, the scent of strangers are genuinely intense sensory inputs to a cat whose alarm system is set too high. To support the neurochemical work the kefir is doing internally, we address the sensory environment externally. Synthetic feline facial pheromone diffusers, the kind available at most pet stores under brand names you will recognize, release a synthetic version of the pheromone cats deposit when they rub their face against objects they have claimed as safe. When a cat smells this pheromone in their environment, it sends a direct neurochemical signal to the limbic system that this space is familiar, claimed, and non-threatening. Plug one in near the area where you want your cat to spend more time, not near their current hiding spot. You are not making the hiding spot more comfortable. You are making the shared space more neurologically inviting. Your own scent is one of the most powerful tools available to you, and it costs nothing. Leave a worn t-shirt or a used pillowcase in the area where you want your cat to begin spending time. Your scent without the overwhelming stimulus of your physical presence allows your cat's nervous system to process you as a safe, familiar, non-threatening element of the environment on their own time and their own terms. Cats who habituate to an owner's scent passively show measurably faster progress toward voluntary proximity than cats whose first repeated exposure to the owner's scent is during direct interaction. For sound, run a low-frequency ambient sound in shared spaces during the day. Brown noise or gentle classical music specifically attenuates the high-frequency spikes that trigger the feline startle response. A cat whose auditory environment is smoothed and predictable spends meaningfully less time with the locus coeruleus activated. Chapter 5. The red flags. When hiding means your cat needs a vet. Today, my friends, here is the chapter I need you to take most seriously, because there is a version of hiding that has nothing to do with neurotransmitters and gut bacteria and everything to do with physical illness. Cats are prey animals in their evolutionary design. Prey animals that reveal they are sick or compromised become targets. The biological imperative to hide illness is so deeply encoded in feline survival behavior that cats will actively conceal pain, nausea, and systemic disease until the situation is advanced. Hiding is often the very first behavioral sign that something is physically wrong, appearing weeks before any other symptom becomes obvious. Red flag 1. A cat who has always been somewhat reclusive but functional is a candidate for the behavioral and nutritional approach we have discussed today. A cat who was previously social or even moderately interactive and has recently become more withdrawn is a sick cat until proven otherwise by a veterinarian. Sudden increase in hiding is a medical symptom, not a personality change. Red flag 2. Hiding combined with a reduced appetite or complete food refusal for more than 24 hours. Cats who stop eating are in serious danger of developing hepatic lipidosis, a form of liver disease that can become life-threatening in as little as 48 to 72 hours, particularly in overweight cats. This is not a wait-and-see situation. A cat who is hiding and not eating needs veterinary assessment today. Red flag 3. Hiding combined with any change in litter box behavior, straining without producing urine, crying in the litter box, blood in the urine, producing only tiny amounts of urine repeatedly. In male cats specifically, urinary obstruction is a life-threatening emergency that presents first as hiding, restlessness, and unusual stillness before the obvious signs of distress appear. A male cat who is hiding and has not been seen urinating normally within 12 hours needs emergency veterinary evaluation immediately. Red flag 4. Hiding combined with rapid weight loss, increased thirst, increased urination, or an unkempt coat that the cat has stopped grooming. This cluster is the classic presentation of several serious systemic diseases, including hyperthyroidism, diabetes, and kidney disease, all of which are highly manageable when caught early and potentially irreversible when caught late. Increased hiding is often the first behavioral flag any of these conditions throws. Red flag 5, hiding combined with any neurological sign, head pressing against walls or surfaces, walking in circles to one direction, loss of coordination, seizure activity, pupils of unequal size. Any one of these alongside hiding is a same-day emergency veterinary visit, no exceptions. The rule I give every cat owner in my clinic is this: hiding that is long-standing and stable is a behavioral and nutritional conversation. Hiding that is new, worsening, or accompanied by any physical change is a medical conversation. Know which one you're having. Wrapping up, let's take a breath and look at everything we built together today. We started by dismantling the myth that hiding is a personality trait and replacing it with the accurate neurochemical picture: a locus coeruleus running too hot, GABA and serotonin running too low, and a gut microbiome that has been starved of the bacterial diversity needed to produce the brain's calming chemistry. We walked through exactly how 1 daily teaspoon of plain multi-strain kefir seeds the gut with the bacteria that produce GABA and serotonin, and the precise protocol for introducing it. We covered the counterintuitive feeding location migration strategy that makes every meal a small act of behavioral conditioning. We addressed the sensory environment with pheromone diffusers, scent habituation, and ambient sound. And we walked through the 5 specific red flags that mean hiding is a medical emergency requiring a veterinarian today, not a nutritional protocol. I know how lonely it is to live with a cat who is invisible. I know how many times you have sat in the same room and tried to simply exist quietly enough that they might stay. I know that you have wondered more than once whether they are okay in there, whether they are happy, whether there was something you should have done differently. The cat who hides from you is not unhappy with you. Their brain is running on a chemistry that makes the world feel too loud, too bright, too unpredictable to navigate in the open. You now understand exactly why that happens and exactly what to do about it. 1 spoonful, every day, patiently. And one day, sooner than you think, you are going to look up from the couch and they are going to be sitting in the middle of the room looking back at you, and you are going to know exactly why. If this masterclass gave you a real path forward tonight, please hit that like button. It helps this kind of honest, science-based veterinary content reach other cat owners who are living with a ghost right now and do not know where to start. Hit subscribe so you never miss one of these deep dives. And for a full printable guide on the feline hiding protocol we covered today, along with more free resources, visit my website at drpatora.com. Let me know in the comments below. How long has your cat been a hider? And what is the longest you have ever gone without seeing them? I read every single comment and I love hearing your stories. Leave a piece of clothing somewhere new for your invisible cat tonight from Dr. Zoran. Let your scent do the first introduction. Trust your instincts. I will see you in the next one.